Hey guys, welcome back. So we finally do have a new Mythic after we said our farewell to Fenturio. We now have the Ice Witch. I think that's just her name, actually, right? I don't think I've ever actually looked at her name in the actual fight, so I guess we'll do that now. Ice Witch's Garden, though, she has a few, obviously a couple new weapon sets. They don't look spectacular to us so far, but they might be useful. Just wanted to record the run that we did. We came in 14th. Thanks to quite a few guys that actually posted their own videos, giving us some ideas and insights and whatnot. When we were first starting, we totally overlooked, I think, even damage on number harmfuls, which is ridiculous because that does the single highest DPS in the game, really, because you can stack it kind of infinitely, right? So that's basically the strategy with this one. Fenturio, you couldn't do anything like that, of course, but this one we will. So the main damage dealer that you have to have should be a ranged carry because you want to stay away from this aura that she creates around her. I'll show you. It's like an ice field thing, ice ring that surrounds her and whatnot. So Snowflake will do that. The aerial will get swapped out for Celestia there. So just in case you're curious, that person's role is fixed. They need to run Celestia, Verde, and Camilla. Basically, that kind of combination means that Camilla will be using her abilities constantly, and it also allows her some time to use her auto attack to actually unload the actual damage based on number of harmfuls. So that particular type of person is pretty much set. From there, you can kind of get creative. We've seen a couple different paths. One was using Deva and Sabrina, which is a combination that utilizes Deva's ability to increase the duration on your harmful effects. So it allows, it allows you to stack it basically to max every debuff that you have. So that's kind of cool. That might be like a crutch that you can use for like a weaker player maybe to assist. So that might be something that you could use. We didn't have Deva, so that wasn't our option, but Water Heath works really good. By the way, for the range carry, you could use Wind Soletta or probably Wind Orbia, maybe Dark Orbia to get the other effects there, but Wind is probably the best. Either way, you have a couple options there with that. For the Water Heath is really nice if you can get one of them. He does a few unique debuffs that are kind of a pain to get from other places. So he was running that because his is pretty geared, so he went with that. He ended up he like swapped monsters a few times. Looks like Eleanoa, Luis, and Perna to start, and then later on he kind of switched those out for either Cadiz, which is the Dark Vampire, or like Wind and Water Art Master, which just came out. So those particular monsters are really good for this mythic. They strip, add damage dealt up, and other things. One of them's a healer too, Wind, I think. But anyway, so I think he used both of those in this. And then I'm over there on the right. We've got Fire Cleave, mostly for the damage dealt up, or sorry, crit damage dealt up, which is the modified S2 for Fire Cleave. And then the other big reason, of course, that you like it is because Fire Cleave will do 2 dots, which is very important for a particular phase in this fight. So I ended up running this comp actually that you see here on the right the whole time, which is Celestia. Asuka is really important. I would say this one's probably mandatory as well. So she does damage based on number of harmfuls as well, but the better part about her is she places 4 debuffs of her own, and they're all decent ones. Well, 2 of them are decent, the other ones are kind of meh, but every single unique harmful effect that you can place on the boss will multiply your damage. It's the same effect that you see in like the field boss, Guild Raid if you're familiar, all those things. So, and then Perna as well. Perna does just kind of flat damage, so I won't be doing a whole lot myself, but Perna will, I will keep Perna out the whole time. Copy will eventually drop this Perna, and this Perna will be doing damage dealt up for us. So that's also a critical debuff. So without further ado, let's get into it. I think that's enough ranting. So yeah, you have to prevent chilling air from stacking. You'll get that debuff if you stand in her ice ring. And you can pick up these flowers on each of the triangle's corners in order to prevent the chilling air for a period of time. So right there it is, right there. You can get in the middle of it like this and deal with it like that too. I'm going to turn down the audio a little bit on this. So as you can see, the number of harmful effects we have on here is pretty intense. What is that? 15 of them right now. I think that's the maximum that we could do with this comp. 15 is spectacular, though. I don't think most people are getting that high as far as the actual unique number, which is what Kamiya's damage will scale off of primarily. Right there you can see the first of her main abilities on the map. We call it Ice Sheet. Basically, you have to get out of this. It will stack chilling air very rapidly on all units in there. So just jet out as soon as you see it on the ground. And you also want to stay on this quadrant if you can. If it's convenient to, for the most part. You want to stay on this quadrant right here because basically what's going to happen is this ice sheet is going to spawn periodically, and the next one's going to come out on the left side here. So you can see that's why we're kind of like moving over to the right here. If you can. You know, obviously try to. If it makes more sense to do a bunch of DPS at a time, you don't have to move right away. You can just kind of carefully, steadily move out. And then my job here as a cleave isn't, like I said, to do a bunch of damage. It's just basically to point the boss, away from our ranged carry so that the ranged carry doesn't get any debuffs or loses HP or, heaven forbid, loses a monster in this. That would be a disaster. So already we are at the first phase, which is a color game. All you really have to do, each one of us has to sit on a different portal, basically. And then, as you can see, they're like red creatures right now. So you just have to have a red weapon out, fire. And then next is blue. So I already switched out to blue. And you'll see they kind of just, yeah, spawn a blue one now. And then they'll spawn a green one. So easy enough. They explode and they don't do any damage. If you choose the wrong color, you blow up. And then we always go to the right to clear all three of those as well. Once you're done with that, you get some time to DPS here, you can see. So we'll stack up. And you'll notice I kind of save my ult a little bit. The reason is because I kind of want to see how she drops her debuffs there. So when she ports mid, every time she will drop all of her debuffs, that also kills instantly Kamiya's damage. So what I try to do is I was trying to save my ult specifically when I didn't have mana to use Celestia's S2, and I needed to get out debuffs again. So I might ult here, I'm thinking. After this attack goes through. So when she ports mid, she does a couple things. That's the first one right there. You can tell also with how she moves too. So right here, she's not actually holding her hands up. So we know this is the safe one. There's a different one, which I'll show you, which is more devastating. But since she's doing that slowly there, she's going to shoot these 3 spikes, and you can see like which angle they're headed. So as long as you're not like directly in the path, you should be fine. But if you do go melee, the width of these is pretty big. So make sure that you have plenty of area, or else you will get clipped by it. So I stood back anyway, just to be on the safe side. I didn't want to get hit by it. Anyway, if she teleports again to the middle a second time in like short succession like that, she will then, as you can see here, yet again cleanse all of her debuffs, add a bunch of buffs onto herself, and that's your cue that she's about to throw a frozen spear at someone. So she locks onto someone. That person probably dead if they get hit. You can survive it. Actually, I think we did survive it for the most part, but it is, you don't want to take it, obviously. So what you can do, if you manage to strip all of these buffs, you can actually purge the frozen spear, and it'll kind of stun her for a bit too. So that's Copy's job here on the left. I think he actually just swapped. Yeah, he swapped out one of his units for an Art Master. Yeah, two of them it looks like right there. He didn't get it in time in this case, so Snow did take that spear, but it's okay. It doesn't look like she lost any units, so it's not big of a deal. A big deal. We'll want to hit that though in the future because, like I said, it just gives us more DPS time and safer as well, of course. So as you can see here, we came over to pick up the flower to cleanse the chilling air that had stacked up on us. A little bit dangerous when she's doing this attack right here. So she'll go into each of the 3 points, one after the other, and she always goes counterclockwise again. But if you stand on these rocks right here, any of them, there's like 3 of them. If you stand on any of these rocks, you can avoid all of the damage, really. You do get hit like a little bit, but it doesn't. It's like meaningless damage. You'll see. I didn't actually get hit on that one, but there you go. So another ice sheet comes out after that attack, and then this is the one that you really have to be careful of. So always be mindful whenever she ports mid. Try to like start walking towards one of the 3 edges of this triangle here for her ring, because if she's doing this attack, you definitely don't want to be in here. This one will pull you if you don't have immunity. It does a bunch of damage, and then after she pulls you, she will slam down in the center. And basically, if you don't have like endure or invincibility or something like that, your unit's just gone, right? So. Luckily, we avoided it there. I might get hit on this one. I can't remember. We'll find out. It's not a very fun attack. Yeah, the fight pretty much goes that way. Yeah, if you ever see her back up like that, and then she'll bring her scythe up, that means she's about to slam the ground, and that will actually remove all of your buffs, and then it'll also like knock you up for a while. So, but the fight kind of goes like that, we just keep her, like I said, away from the ranged carry, and then just DPS her down. As you can see here on the left, I'm not doing really any damage. Snow is already 10x my damage or so. Well, maybe not quite that much, but you get what I mean. The Kamiya is the star of this. Your sole goal in life is to buff her as much as possible. We're just trying to do a little bit extra so that, we relieve that burden of hers. Because with only 10 minutes, you definitely need to do an insane amount of damage. So I used that opportunity to cleanse my debuffs there. Perfectly timed too, because while you have this buff, you are also immune from getting more chilling air stacks, and so I can just kind of ignore the ring right now, which is great. And I can just focus on DPS. I don't have to think about anything. Cleef can survive any of this damage that they have here. Looks like we're actually doing, what is that, 17 debuffs. So I was wrong earlier. We're actually doing even more than that. Might be Copy's different monsters that he has out right now. So definitely want to stack up as many as possible. That's basically all there is really to killing this boss. So let's see, there comes another ice sheet. She went mid. Luckily, she is spawning the spears. I didn't actually move away from the mid, which is a bad habit of mine. I just told you to do it. I wasn't doing it, you know what I mean? Do what I say, not what I do. Luckily, it was not the ring of death, whatever you want to call it. The super devastating attack. This attack right here, when you see her twirl the scythe like that around up above her, she's about to do a huge AoE in front of her. I think it's like a 180 cone, basically facing her direction. Everything on that side is going to get hit with unremovable heal block. So you have to wait for it to expire. Luckily it does, obviously, or else the run would be over. But or you die, right? During that time, you just want to be extra careful that you don't take a whole lot of extra damage, because obviously your healing doesn't do anything for like 10 or 15 seconds. I, for some reason, decided to eat it here. I'm not infallible, you know what I mean? You guys have seen me play. I do make mistakes from time to time, so... Here is her third phase, I believe this is. So she's going to spawn flowers on the ground, and basically it's going to blossom out from there and hit, and then more flowers will spawn around them. All of them will do damage to you if you're on them when they explode or when they appear. Um, Honestly, I think Snow mentioned you can do this like triangle formation where you just move back and forth in the pattern of like a triangle to avoid like all of the damage or most of it. It didn't quite make sense to me. I didn't quite get the hang of it. Might try it again in the future. What I've been kind of doing is just running like chaos mode. You know what I mean? We do have Celestia here to heal, so it's not too dangerous. I actually did get close to Snow. You're supposed to split up during this phase, so that you're not getting hit by other people's flowers, as you can see here. So I do take some damage, but I'm Cleef. You know what I mean? Like we're low, but then okay, I just hit S2 and Celestia heals me back up to full, and I got a shield now. So I always use this opportunity as well after that phase to cleanse any stacks that I have. And there's Frozen Spear, so that's perfect. We can come in, unload, do the damage. Perfect. So as you can see here, yeah, I'm starting to do at least some damage, but that's not really my goal. My goal is to just keep the debuffs on. Here's the fourth phase. So in this phase, you have to deal dot damage. So I quickly change out my monsters, sort of quickly. My Perna and Asuka here will become Chao and Tessarian as soon as I have the mana for it. And as you can see here, they use their skills on cooldown. These things only take dot damage, basically. They take a little bit of damage from other attacks, but nothing really. So you just want to make sure that you have enough debuffs, or enough dots on it. You can see here that you have like 5 Frostbite and then 3 Burn, and 1 Bleed too, which is the nice part about being Cleef. That's enough right there. Those debuffs will stay on there for quite a while, and they're going to do an incredible amount of damage to the Everfrost. So you can see I actually walk away from this thing now and go to kill another one. Also, by the way, it's a good idea to start on one of the circles because there's a flower that spawns there at the start of this phase usually. And so if you grab that, you are immune to this thing. This thing is going to keep pushing chilling air on you every time it emits like a shockwave, and it shoots like a little, not a laser, but you know what I mean, like a, I guess, yeah, shockwave in front of it. So yeah, you can see it right there. They're sort of like laser, like laser fissure type things, whatever. So I actually do use my ult as well, just to make sure that we are using Chao's S2, which is a basic aura that just generates Frostbite repeatedly around him. Very good for this. You can use other things too. I think Kapu is using Kedis, which also strips too, so you can use him for the spear phase. So you can use him there. He works. But then yeah, I walked all the way. You'll notice I walked all the way out, away from the boss down here, and I set the 2 monsters that I wanted to bring back out and put them in reserve. But then, as you can see here, it went to 0 mana cost because we were too far away from the boss. So you can use this, by the way, for just general play as well too. If you're able to completely like escape at a certain distance away from any other enemies, you can actually change monsters for free. So obviously, yeah, obviously that's a good thing to do here. And then I rush back in, let my guys do some damage, and then I use Celestia's S2 to restart their cooldowns. So pretty standard stuff if you've been playing the game, of course. I know I'm explaining it probably in more depth than I perhaps need to, but just to make sure that you kind of play it right, you know what I mean? Every second matters in this. As you can see at the top, we have 2.5 minutes left, so we're almost out of time already. The other thing to note down there too, you can see these ice rinks that she sets up below her, like little ice lines. You'll notice when I move over them, and you can see me moving a little bit right here, I move very fast while I'm over them. You basically just have a huge movement speed buff when you're walking on top of them while they're out there. So make sure you use those if you need to get away or reposition quickly. Use those, of course, to get to where you need to be. So, very handy. Unfortunately, Snow got hit over there, but I think we had enough time. It wasn't that big of a race here. I can't remember. We'll find out. Oh, and yeah, I guess I didn't mention too. If you get hit by certain abilities of hers, like this one, I just decided to eat. Oh, I think this is the AOE one, so I think everyone gets hit by this. It says you have to tap evasion 10 times to remove the status effect. It's really good, really important to actually get used to dealing with that like immediately, because especially later on in the final phase, you'll need to clear those debuffs in order to actually win. You know, you'll have to do it effectively. So, but for that, you just hit space if you're playing PC 10 times, and it's gone. There's another one for spamming your auto attack too, so you have to actually, in my case, press C, which is annoying. I've been thinking about rebinding that, but oh yeah, that's right. She pulled me out of the flower there, so she can do that. Always be careful of her just hook-shotting you. Like that. That one took me by surprise. Luckily, it didn't really matter. Snow is still not even here to do damage with Kamiya, so not a big deal at all. All right, here's the final form of, I guess. Oh yeah, that's right. Her name is Glacier, of course. Right, Glacier. Glacier's final stage. You'll want to split up. As you can see, Copy is already moving in the upper left-hand direction. Snow's already in the upper right, and I'm already on the well, I guess the bottom of the triangle. I guess I don't know with how we're looking at it. But we want to stay in this direction because she shoves you away. And your objective is to get these flowers into the center. As you can see, she has 10 stacks of this buff. So you need to get 10 flowers into her little bubble here. The weird thing about this is you can only hit a flower that is glowing orange. And if it's starting to go dormant like this one, like glowing white here, if it's just starting to, that means you cannot hit it. You'll see what I mean here in a second. So if you use your auto attack C, you'll actually punt the flower, provided it's actually orange here. Now see, I was able to do that one there too, luckily. I think the problem is if you have two flowers next to each other like this, I think it tries maybe to attack both of them. So if they're both not orange at the same time, you can get kind of CC'd here. I'll show you what I mean. I'm sure I make at least one mistake, but yeah, that flower is almost there. Yeah, so you can see that right there. So I auto-attacked this one. I was aiming for it because I knew it was ready. The other one was not, though, and an auto-attack did get triggered on it. So what the game does is it freezes you, and you have to tap your active skills 20 times to become unfrozen, and you can resume tapping flowers in. Problem with that is if you tap too fast, you want to tap fast to start, but then when you're down to like a few of them left, you can monitor your number right here. Slow down, because if you continue to spam, then the game will immediately take your input after the CC is gone, and you will initiate another attack. And if the flower isn't ready again, guess what? You're CC'd once more. I'm sure it'll happen to me a couple times here. Yeah. Right there. I'm like, okay, I gotta slow down. Okay, and I almost hit that one again, too. And so right there, you can see this game is kind of tricky. If you just barely notice, that orange was starting to go away, and it became dormant. So I unfortunately hit it right at the wrong moment. But other than that, it's a pretty fun minigame. You have to do it before this bar closes, or else you lose. I guess if you run out of time, too, you would also lose, but... So anyway, I decided to go for it on that one, and luckily I did get it. Came over here to help Snow. This is an example of how not to do it, just in case you wanted to see that. I'll just take her side as well, alright? Luckily, yeah, we were able to barely push the last one in there and end the fight. So there you have it. That's a pretty simple way to handle the fight. It doesn't use too many difficult units to find. You do have to have the Kamiya. That's pretty much given. I do want to say that Asuka is probably a must slot as well, just because of the number of harmful. I can't think of too many monsters that actually apply 4 different debuffs while also doing good damage. So Fire Asuka, definitely a good pick here as well. Pretty important for ramping up that Kamiya. But yeah, that's all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed. I'm sure there are other much better videos, but we were so excited that we actually got ranked on this one. I haven't been on the board yet, so it's pretty awesome. So either way, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.